Whenever we start to lose weight or whenever we start to make a change for the more healthy lifestyles that we're after, we have to face the fact that we end up getting really hungry. We end up just getting bombarded with these hormones that make us crave all kinds of foods. It's like this constant battle that we're dealing with. We try to get healthy, but then the cravings come back with a vengeance, so it's easy to put that weight back on or easy to get unhealthy again. Hey, I'm Thomas DeLauer with Keto Mojo. We're gonna break down cravings, your hunger hormones, and the ketogenic diet. So the first hormone that we want to look at is one known as CCK, also known as cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin is the satiety hormone. It's produced by the epithelial cells within your small intestine that basically tell your brain that you're full. They basically start the process of producing digestive enzymes so that you can break down that food. Now the interesting thing is we also have what is called the enteric nervous system. This is a nervous system that exists in your gut. Maybe you've heard of the gut-brain axis or your second brain before. Well, we have nerve endings that are in our gut. And these nerve endings within our gut produce this cholecystokinin as well. And this cholecystokinin, again, communicates with the hypothalamic cells within the brain to tell us that we're full. And this kickstarts the entire process of digestion. But what the heck does that have to do with the ketogenic diet? Well, there was a study that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and it took a look at this entire thing because normally when we start to reduce calories or we start to lose weight, we have a pretty big decrease in cholecystokinin. So we lose weight and we end up having a decrease in the hormone that tells our brain that we're full. This is a problem. So what this study took a look at was test subjects that were eating and then given a CCK injection. Well, the subjects that were given a CCK injection immediately stopped eating. So we know that CCK plays a big role in our cravings and how we eat and how hungry we are. When we start looking at this study a little bit deeper, we find that the ketogenic diet kind of comes to the rescue. You see, what they did within the same study is for 8 weeks, they had these participants lose weight. They had them go on a diet where they lost weight. And of course, they saw that their CCK levels decreased. But then what they did is they had them go on the ketogenic diet for just 1 week after that. For just 1 week on the ketogenic diet, they saw an increase of the CCK levels come back to where it was at baseline before they ever started dieting. So what this could potentially mean is that you could be losing your weight and then be able to switch to a ketogenic diet or lose weight with a ketogenic diet in the first place and not have to deal with the hunger hormones nearly as much, meaning it's significantly easier to keep the weight off and not fall victim to cravings, especially when we're talking around the holiday time. All right, but then we have another hormone that we want to look at. This is one that you may have heard of before. It's called ghrelin. Ghrelin is literally known as the hunger hormone. Ghrelin is produced within the GI tract, and it produces, yet again, a neuropeptide that communicates with the hypothalamic cells, once again, to tell our body that we're hungry this time. So basically, once the stomach empties and your stomach is overall empty and you're craving food, ghrelin secretes, tells the brain to go ahead and start the whole process of making you hungry so that you eat again. Now, what ends up happening is as you lose weight, your ghrelin levels typically increase because you're reducing your calories, you're reducing your overall intake of food, so then your ghrelin levels are going to go up to tell your body to eat more. So again, combine that with CCK, you've got kind of a recipe for disaster. It makes it really, really hard to keep the weight off. But where does the ketogenic diet come into place? Well, in this particular case, we're looking at a study that was published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. And it took a look at 39 non-diabetic overweight and obese patients. And it had them go on a ketogenic diet for 8 weeks, followed by 2 weeks of a refeeding diet, basically going off keto. So what they found is that when they lost weight on the ketogenic diet, they had a pretty significant decrease in their ghrelin levels. So remember what I said earlier? Normally when you lose weight, you see an increase in ghrelin. On the keto diet, they saw a subsequent decrease in ghrelin. So they lost weight and their ghrelin levels decreased. So then when they put them on the 2-week refeed diet and they added carbs back into the mix, they found that the ghrelin levels rose significantly. So evidently, the production of ketones by the body seemed to keep ghrelin levels at bay. But once those ketones were out of the equation, the ghrelin levels rose and they got hungry again. So this isn't to say that these studies are the end-all be-all, but what we can link from this is that ketones play a pretty big role in keeping the hunger hormones controlled. They increase CCK and they decrease ghrelin, which can make it a heck of a lot easier for you. So it sort of debunks the whole keto isn't sustainable myth. Keto is very sustainable and it makes it so that you can keep the weight off significantly easier. You just want to make sure that you're doing it right, and that's exactly where Keto Mojo comes in. You see, the root of all this comes down to the ketones. If we have ketones in our blood, then everything is happy. So you want to use the Keto Mojo meter to be testing your blood ketone levels and make sure that you're in the optimal range to be able to reap the benefits of the ketogenic diet. So as always, make sure you're leaving the guesswork out of the equation and leaving the true measuring to the Keto Mojo meter. I will see you in the next Keto Mojo video.